Hello everyone and welcome to my ES Tech session about how to build impactful virtual meetings using Prezi Video. My name is Naba Ahmed. I'm an editor at Prezi, which is a virtual presentation software that's transforming the way people present on video. In today's session, we will be covering 3 items for stronger, more productive meetings, including best practices for video meetings and communications, how to manage video conference fatigue, and how you can use Prezi Video to take your live meetings and async videos to the next level. At the end of the session, Prezi's customer education specialist Vince will be joining us for the Q&A portion. If you have any questions throughout the session, please have them ready to ask him. Plus, I'm going to be sharing a special offer for all attendees at the end of the session. Stay tuned. Before we dive into the content, I wanted to share a little bit more about myself. My name is Naba, as I mentioned, and I'm an editor at Prezi, where I work closely with influencers and thought leaders to create, record, and live stream compelling videos that we then use to educate and inspire people all over the world on topics across business, sales, marketing, L&D, and education. So please connect with me after this presentation to let me know how all the tips I've shared worked out for you. I'd really love to hear it. So now, let's first dive into the best practices for your video meetings, webinars, and virtual conferences. First, I want to start off by setting the stage a little bit. Moving forward, almost every meeting will have at least one person tuning in remotely. Now that we're in a hybrid work environment, it's really important to establish the right processes and culture to keep all employees included and engaged. I'm going to share some best practices featuring insights from top experts about how to hold effective video meetings. In 2020, we saw people attending more meetings than ever. According to Yana, the founder of team building organization Fairlinked, managers spend 23 hours a week in meetings, and 71% of those have been classified as totally unnecessary. Therefore, it's so important to identify which meetings are actually worth keeping. If they will incorporate creativity, collaboration, and team building, Yana says these are all the meetings that you should keep. Another important rule of thumb with meetings is to determine if they involve two-way communication. If not, these meetings can be canceled and instead replaced by sending an asynchronous video update, which I will show you how to create using Prezi Video later in this session. Whether you're meeting live or communicating asynchronously, there's no denying that video now plays an outsized role in how we talk to each other. But in order for video to be effective, you'll need to actually turn your camera on. According to Sonia, a senior sales enablement specialist at Oracle, this simple action can go a really long way. By appearing on screen, you can show your reactions, you can build connections, you can establish credibility and trust, get noticed, and promote an authentic dialogue. So moving into our next practice involving meeting organization. When it comes to planning and strategy meetings in the hybrid workplace, shared knowledge is everything. If only certain people know certain pieces of information, you'll see that communication breakdowns occur much more frequently. This makes it so important to create agendas. Not only are agendas great for accountability, but it also makes the meeting way more intentional and it takes your team's time into consideration. And the next thing is that during the meeting itself, you should have a designated note taker. This note taker shouldn't be the person who's leading the meeting or the person who's providing a lot of input. So that way they can focus on documenting everything that goes into the meeting. Finally, another important tip for meeting organization is to leave a few minutes at the end to discuss next steps, especially when there are multiple action items and stakeholders involved. For anyone who is unable to join the meeting, they also will have a comprehensive document to refer to thanks to the note taker. So once this meeting is over, the meeting host can then send the next steps with assigned persons and deadlines to the entire team to ensure that we've wrapped up everything that was discussed in the meeting. Let's keep rolling into the next best practice, which deals with meeting hygiene, and I'll explain exactly what that means in this section. With video becoming one of the default ways to connect both professionally and personally, it's become even more important to meet certain standards before joining a virtual call or sending a recording. For example, Eden Liu, a customer success manager at Reincubate, points to good audio and good video quality as the bare minimum for good meeting hygiene. She says that we should think of it as the virtual meeting equivalent of brushing your teeth. Now, that brings us to the final virtual meeting best practices. And as we're now in the hybrid work environment, these best practices will also touch on hybrid meetings. Another one of the biggest challenges teams are facing now is how to engage both remote attendees and in-person ones. It can be really easy to forget about remote colleagues in hybrid meetings, which is why Uri, the chief meeting designer at Slido, stresses the need to be inclusive. It can be really difficult for virtual employees to speak up in a hybrid meeting without interrupting the flow of conversation, especially when they need to unmute. So try to be an advocate on their part and call attention to them when it looks like they want to contribute. So as the meeting goes on, watch for people unmuting themselves or even just using emojis to react as signs that they may want to say something. He also suggests asking everyone to bring in their own laptop and turn on their cameras individually to put all attendees on the same playing field. And if there's an open question, you should turn to your online colleagues first. Not only will this help them feel included, it'll also help you to not forget about them. Another tip for the remote attendee, you should just say hi when you join a meeting. Not only is it just a nice thing to do, but it also gives you extra visibility, so much so that it's one of the video conferencing best practices that we've carried into hybrid meetings. Organizers also should greet people as they join the video conference and chat with them before the meeting starts, and it shouldn't be just with the people in the room. When you involve remote people in the casual sides of things, it helps your hybrid meeting feel way more unified. Now that you have the best practices for virtual meeting, let's take a look at what we can do about the unavoidable video conference fatigue. If you're working at home, you've likely been on your fair share of video conference calls. And the reason for fatigue is that meeting over video is just not quite the same as meeting face-to-face. Our brains have to work harder to pick up on nonverbal cues, and since most attendees have their mics turned off to decrease background noise, it can feel like you're just speaking into a void. You also see yourself staring back at you, which can make you more self-aware than if you were in person. Video conference fatigue is a recent phenomenon within the last year when everyone needed to communicate over video in order to feel like they could stay connected with their colleagues. And also, one of the things that makes video conferencing so tiring for some people is the feeling of everyone's eyes on them while they're speaking. And most virtual presentations, whether it be events, webinars, or meetings, currently look like this. Speakers end up tiny, or they have to screen share, and their slide deck ends up taking over the entire screen. A big part of where fatigue comes from is that we're bored of the slides that are screen shared, and we're tired of seeing the same type of presentation over and over. But now, there is a way to create more dynamic and interactive meetings and events that will set you apart from everyone. That's exactly where Prezi Video comes in. With Prezi Video, you can bring your content on your screen with you, as you can see here and as I've been doing throughout this presentation. I wanted to point out a few of the examples here of educators and influencers we've worked with to show you what you can also create. You'll see here we have a Prezi video created by a LinkedIn senior data scientist, Brian Chu, who incorporated charts into his presentation. He also left it just a little bit transparent so that he could actually point to the specific data points on the chart while he was presenting. Another example here is Emmy Award winner Jessica Chen. She has just used some simple text and images, but her presentation is just as impactful because we can still see her. Based on these examples, you can see how this allows you to maintain the human connection with your audience and eliminates the need to screen share. You can use Prezi Video to avoid another meeting by recording a video online and then sharing it with your teammates. It's a great option when you need to make an announcement or share an exciting update, since your video will stand out compared to all the other messages waiting in your team's inbox. It's really easy to record and share your thoughts, and you can also add a visual element next to you on screen, just like in this video. So now let's dive in on how exactly you can get started creating a Prezi video. Now that you know how to optimize your remote meetings, let's talk about how you can use Prezi Video to take your meetings to the next level. I know I've already shared some bits and pieces of how Prezi Video works, but I just wanted to share this video for you to see exactly how Prezi Video is the most engaging, interactive, and professional looking way to present on video. It has some of my favorite examples. with Prezi Video, you're able to go live or you can record. So let's first start off with how you can go live. To really stand out with your team or your clients, using Prezi Video Live is going to be what has some of the biggest impact and wow factor. Like I shared before, this is what you could look like on a call, and also what I'm presenting to you now could also be used in a live meeting. Prezi Video also works with any video conferencing software that allows you to select your camera, including Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, and more. As long as you can switch your camera to a Prezi Video virtual camera, you're all good to go. So as I mentioned, Prezi Video is a virtual camera. So in order to use it in a video conference, what you will need to do first is download the Prezi Video app, click Video Conference, and then go to your video conferencing tool. Once you're in the meeting, all you need to do is select the Prezi Video virtual camera, and then you're good to go, and you can start streaming your Prezi Video content. And of course, you can also record a video for async comms, any thought leadership, or any other video communications. Here's a clip from Wall Street Journal best-selling author Nir Eyal sharing his insights on how to become indistractable. Another great use of recording Prezi Video is for virtual sales. For example, a lot of sellers had made use of this feature when pitching clients by creating a template with similar colors or branding to that company, and then recording a video with an introduction of themselves and their product. Additionally, when you're recording the video in the app, you'll be able to trim your videos at the start and end. You can pause if you need a break from recording, and then with our premium product, you'll also be able to download your MP4 files. If you do record a video, I always recommend that you actually upload it to your Prezi account as well, so you can always access it with a simple URL, so it's easy to share with people, easy to check back in, and easy for you to see it yourself. Now, many of you are already going to have PowerPoint slides, whether you're going live or recording a video. So importing your slides into Prezi Video is going to be a great way to boost human connection while eliminating screen sharing. And you don't even have to make any new content. So let's take a look at how you can do that. Once you log into Prezi Video, all you have to do is you can either access this from the browser or you can just download the desktop app right away. Once you're in the Prezi Video desktop app, you can just import your slides and you'll see you can select all the slides that you want or just a few of them. And once you have all the slides chosen, then you can add any additional text or images alongside it if you want, which you can see her doing here as well. And then once you're all ready, you'll see at the bottom you can either go live and record to get started. The next option is that you can use Prezi Present. So if you want something a little bit more advanced, you can try one of our templates. You can edit the text and images on here just as you would on a PowerPoint. So this is another way to just up-level your presentations. So you'll see in this video, all you have to do is hit Advanced Create, and then you'll be given our library of video template options. While you are in it, you can also allow camera access so that you can see yourself, see how it looks with your background, and make sure the colors match with wherever you are. From there, you can insert your content as needed, any icons, images, videos, GIFs that you'd like, and change out all the text as needed as well. Same thing as before, once you are ready to go live or record, all you need to do is just download the desktop app and you are ready to go. Now, I wanted to touch in on all of the use cases for Prezi Video. I know I've mentioned async communications a lot, but we all know that you're likely doing some type of async communication already, which occurs, when you provide information that doesn't require an immediate response, like emails or text. So using async communication is one of the best ways to cut down on meetings, but it typically relies on a lot of writing to function. With Prezi Video, you can record your thoughts in a video and then share the file with your team. One example is that Prezi's product marketing management and product management teams give project status updates in a weekly async meeting. This is a great way for the two teams to stay connected and see each other while avoiding another video call. They're then able to watch the videos on their own time and provide feedback and questions via email later. Another great use for async is if you want to make an announcement, there's really no need to gather all your colleagues or your students into a video conference. Instead, you can record a video and send it to everyone who needs it. It's a great option if you want to just give a quick update and you don't want to disturb anyone's flow for a short meeting. I know I've mentioned all these other use cases as well, but I just wanted to bring them up again. Going live is another major use case, and it's really what wows your audience when they see you pull your content up on screen for the first time. Virtual selling is another, whether you're trying to gain a buyer's attention, connect with buyers virtually, or you're just trying to differentiate yourself with other sellers. Trainers also have found a lot of use in building video materials for new employees or for training teams on new products. And lastly, we have a huge user base of educators who are finding Prezi video valuable because it keeps their students focused and engaged. And this goes for both K through 12 and higher ed. So now I just want to show you some quick examples here of all those use cases playing out. So this here is career coach Diana Chan. She does a lot of live streams over YouTube, LinkedIn, and other social platforms. And as you can see here, she actually is using one of our video templates, which she just adapted to fit her content and colors. Here with sales, we have Salesforce's Tiffany Bova doing a webinar talking about the future of sales. For L&D, the former VP of Learning at Udemy is sharing some really useful insights about how to make learning core to work. And then lastly, for ED, we have an educator using this video to engage her students. I think it's very clear that, especially from the last year, video is here to stay. And so I hope with this presentation, you were able to take away some best practices from this presentation for your remote meetings and events. You learned how to manage video conference fatigue, and you got some ideas flowing for how you can use Prezi Video to really stand out. And I have a bonus for all of you. Anyone who is watching today can get a free Prezi Video Premium upgrade. There's also a free version if you prefer that. But with Premium, you can download your video as an MP4, you can use presenter notes, you can record in HD, and a whole bunch of other good stuff. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and please connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know if you have any questions or feedback about today's session. And stay tuned for our Q&A session with Prezi's Customer Education Specialist, Vince. Thank you so much again. I really appreciated being here, and have a great rest of ES Tech. Bye.